want to tell you a story. So I'm at my desk and I'm doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing. I'm reading a book and it's making me feel quite insecure about myself. The house that I'm in is currently busy with people walking down the hallway, so every time someone walks past, I have to quickly get off my PDF, online PDF that I'm reading the book on, and go back to studying. As I'm just getting into the book, I get called for dinner. I reluctantly put down the book and go to dinner. So I've recently started reading a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a fuck, basically. And something interesting that I've read in this book is something that made me kind of insecure and think more about myself. And this probably applies the same to you. Like, I'm gonna ask you something. You've probably had this like whole idea your entire life that you were like special, that you like weren't really like other people, right? What I'm about to tell you, you will relate to, but you will also be quite offended at, and you might feel a bit insecure at times. If that's the case, that's fine. You can, fuck off somewhere else. But I'm just saying, this is kind of like me reading this book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. This made me kind of realize things about myself and how I should approach my goals. And I just want to say, do you imagine like these scenarios in your head where you're like, a badass guy and all and stuff like that? Because for many years I did. You see someone like a UFC fighter who like has loads of wins. You see like all his highlight reels, and it's not gonna see your thing. Yeah, I'm gonna be that guy. You're imagining scenarios in your head, like knocking people out or whatever. That's just an example. Whatever, like it is, or like saving someone. Like, bro, you're not that like special in that regard. Like a lot of other guys have those kind of scenarios in their heads. But the key thing I got from the book was, when you were choosing something, some venture to go on that will yield results, like you have a goal, don't choose the rewards that you get out of it. Rather, choose what you want to suffer for. Basically, you imagine yourself like doing all these things, I'm making a lot of money, UFC fighter. And like, and you imagine yourself in your head, it's like this really cool guy, but you never actually take action at all. The point of this video is that basically it's just a video saying you're not special. Basically, everyone wants the fame, everyone wants glory, right? And you think that like you're the exception or something, that you're the only one that wants to think, oh yeah, but I just want it more badly than everyone else. No, you don't. Ever wondered how, when you were younger, you had like these goals, you want to be a rock star or something, and time went on, and then you're looking back and saying like, what the heck? The answer, and you're like, oh yeah, so yeah, when I become, when I'm able to afford it, I'll do it, and then oh yeah, this has to be right, this has to be right, this has to be right, and then you never get around to it. You know what I mean? It's not this Hollywood bullshit of like, oh no, you just didn't, that guy, he just didn't have it. You just didn't want it. Simple. No, he just didn't want it badly enough. Well, yeah, kind of, but like, you just didn't want it. You wanted the reward that came with it, but you didn't want the struggle that it took to get there. It's like, in your case, it's kind of weird because, again, this is gonna sound horrible, but you kind of see yourself in this kind of like godlike way. Not godlike way, but like, you kind of see yourself as like a bit better than everyone else, right? You kind of see yourself as kind of, oh yeah, I'm just like naturally good. I'm just gonna be naturally good at this thing. Oh yeah, when I'm walking down the footpath, everyone's looking at me, and you don't necessarily like that. Part of the reason why you're so anxious because you have those scenarios in your head. You're being a badass guy, and you're thinking that you are better than most people. But the truth is, no one gives a fuck about you. Seriously, whether that's meant to make you insecure or relieved, that's the truth. Everyone is just thinking about themselves. You were just thinking about yourself, right? And I've already told you you're not the exception. So what do you think everyone else is doing? They're thinking about themselves. right? You know, okay, think of the, like, most famous person you know on YouTube, maybe it's like a UFC fighter, right? You, this guy's very famous, right? This is an example. This guy's very famous, right? And you give a fuck about him, like, what, 5 minutes in the, 12, 14 hours that you're awake. And he's like a celebrity. And no offense to you, but like, no one knows you, right? So what you really have to do when you're choosing a goal is to find out what you're willing to suffer for, because the rewards for a lot of things are roughly the same, right? When you venture to do something hard, you'll get the money, right? You'll get the experience. You'll get kind of like the prestige and status that comes with, leveling up in something. You might become like famous or something. But you have to be willing, choose your suffering. Are you willing to suffer long hours of working on the weekends and getting screamed at by your parents for not studying to go to university because you think that's a waste of time, because it is? Do you want to suffer through getting punched in the face repeatedly 3 times a week with bloody noses, having to literally go to the bathroom to catch your breath while you're dripping in sweat, just wanting to quit? That is the suffering. You have to be willing to choose your suffering. You basically have to put in the work. And you kind of have this idea that you don't have to put in as much work as other people, or you think that you can just go all out and you have this infinite reserve of willpower. But you don't. You can train your willpower, but you don't have this, like, you have this idea that you have no discipline, right? But you think you can just like grind and grind and grind. And then the opposite's true. You think you're special. So you think, oh yeah, I don't have to work. Yeah, I'm just going to be like really good at this. Yeah, when I get into the boxing gym, I'm going to beat everyone, and you realize get your ass beat. If this video offended you, I'm not sorry. But hopefully you learned something from this. The main idea is choose your struggle for your goal. You're not as special as you realize. Anyways, thanks for watching.